Okay, guys, real quick. A lot of people are asking questions online. I'm showing these bikes off, and a lot of people are confused as to why they're here, or they thought they were somewhere else. So let me just do a quick rundown of all the bikes I have and why they're here and not someone else. This is the Jets bike. This was offered to me by the same people who brought the Yankees bike down. Maybe a couple months later, they bought them together. The person who bought these from my father bought this Jets bike and the Yankees bike, and they both got damaged. Nobody really knows how, but that's the story. Build off one has always been mine. That was the deal. In order for me to do the build offs, my thing was I get to keep my bike. They wanted to raffle the bikes, and I said, if that's what you're going to do, I don't want to do it. And so eventually they were like, okay, you can keep the bike, and that was great for me because here it is, and I'd really miss it if it wasn't here. Rocksteady's bike, the Ninja Turtles movie. I had two options. They can buy them from me or I can keep them. I kept them, and I ended up doing a licensing deal with them where they made some toys, which I don't have out here right now. And that's how I kind of made my money and was able to keep the bikes. Anti-Venom, first bike PJD turned out. Thought it was a good idea at the time, especially with the web theme I had going for all the years. And it kind of coincided with the Geico bike, if you remember. Black Widow, same kind of thing. You know, this was a bike. It was just something I wanted to build. We did it all those years ago, and it just resided with us for all these years as part of me and my father parting ways, I'll say. This was the one bike I got, and I'm glad it's the one I got, although I'd like a lot more, but whatever. And then, so we also have the Spiderman bike, which is my very first theme bike that I ever did, or we ever did. And this really resided with OCC for a long time. Wyclef bought it for years. Apparently, years ago, Wyclef came back and sold it back to my father. So he ended up with it again. And when the series came back more recently, he gave it to me, which was really awesome. And I will forever be grateful for this bike. Yankees bike, well, you guys know pretty much the story there. This was, you know, the project that kind of brought me and my father back in the fold when the series came back. This was the bike that kind of, you could see, obviously, original one got pretty mashed up. We made some kind of adjustments and I think improvements, to be honest with you. And this is what we got, the Yankees bike. And that's why I have it, because I bought it back from the guy who bought it at auction after it had been trashed. So MLB, a very nice couple won this bike. And it was, this bike was one of the bikes that I think from a theme standpoint is one of the most incredible bikes we've put out from a cleanliness aesthetic and from a high level branding aesthetic. I mean, just look at this thing. It's one of my favorite bikes, especially as far as theme. And I just feel like, because this is what I do for a living, is build bikes for brands. And you don't get much bigger in the world of branding than Major League Baseball. I really wanted to have this one back. And the people that won it were nice enough to sell it back to me. And I paid a handsome sum for it because I really felt like it was worth it. Cubics. This is going back to senior versus junior years. This bike is spectacular. I won't get into all the details, but let's just say it took me 7 years to get this bike back here. It basically disappeared, and we got it back 7 years later. It surfaced, and needless to say, it's in our shop. Build Off 2, same thing as Build Off 1. This was the second Build Off, and the same type of deal. The deal was we do the Build Off, we get to keep the bikes, and that's where that landed. And this is, I believe, the final one that I have here. This is the Bebop. This is the other bike other than Rocksteady. So same deal. We built it. Instead of getting paid, we did a licensing deal and we kept the bikes, just because I have a hard time parting with these if I don't have to. Now, just keep in mind, these bikes that I'm showing you here, this is just a small portion of the bikes we've built through the years, not even considering the OCC years, but more in line with all the bikes we built the PJD years and senior versus junior and things like that. So I hope that clears it up for you guys. you know, I just want to make sure everybody understands how it all works. And I'm super excited to have these bad boys, and Happy New Year.